Hey, powerful people. Thanks for opening this video. This is your monthly video for being part of my tribe, and I just got to tell you how much I appreciate you being here and your willingness to take yourself on the way you are. You're making the world a better place. You know, I believe in oneness. I talk about this all the time. I'm pretty clear we're all connected. And when you do your work, it ripples out all over the place. And so thank you for being that person who's willing to take yourself on. If you're watching my videos and you're in this with me, then I know that that's where you are, and that tells me a little bit about you. So thank you for that. Today I want to talk about being kind to yourself. One of the things that I'm so grateful for, that I feel so blessed by, is that I have clients often come back to me after years of not working with me, and they tell me that one of the things that stick, all the work, sticks if you practice it well, and they're still practicing. But one of the things that's most important that they tell me they learned from me is being kind to themselves, especially when they're going through a hard time, right? So, my book, we talk a lot about progress, not perfection. And when my signature process, I came to constant forgiveness, which is part of my process. I came to that, if you're not familiar, from a place of a lot of endings and changes. I had an entire year, my 45th year of life. I talk about this a lot. My 45th year of life was when we became foster parents. My dog died. I donated a kidney. My mom died. Then my cousin that I donated a kidney to died. And then the foster kids we had, our kids were, special needs and traumatized. I mean, it was really an intense time. And I discovered that in order for me to make it through that time, I had to start practicing constant forgiveness. But that was the beginning of it. But it's an ongoing practice to constantly remind myself that part of this work is that you're going to go through stuff, right? And I think, especially for those of us who've been doing it a long time and we're really well-trained individuals, sometimes I think there's this level of, I know I have it, this level of arrogance where I think, okay, I got this figured out, right? I'll have a couple of really good months and I got all my practices in place and everything's good and I got this figured out, and next thing you know, life throws me a curveball, and it's, we're in that world where, we know that we create our own reality and life happens. I have a friend that just got a friend with breast cancer, for example. Whoa, wow, life happened. That's, life happens. And so being kind to yourself and a practice of being kind to yourself is so powerful, because when you are mean to yourself and when you beat yourself up, first of all, that is a practice. Like, you've been practicing that for a long time. And it's an old practice. And so it's a neural pattern, right? We talk a lot about the brain because this is the sucker that runs you. That neural pattern of you beating yourself up or whatever it is, triggering the make wrong, the pattern of you berating yourself or talking mean to yourself or however it is that you do, right? Everybody has their own method of beating themselves up. When that kicks in, it's just a neural pattern. Like, that's all that's happening, right? And we talk about this a lot. When we're very clear that's just a neural pattern, we know we can change it. And so starting to build a muscle and a neural pattern of going to kindness for yourself, giving yourself some grace, right? Granting yourself some being is also, it's a pattern, but it's one we can create, and a practice I just want you to, remind you of, because you can never practice it too much, right? You think you got it all figured out, and then bam, something happens, and then you're like, whoa, hey, and it doesn't feel good. And then when we don't feel good, we have a tendency to make ourselves wrong, like we should know better, right? We should be better than this by now. We should have figured this out by now. All those things that are a bunch of crap, right? You're never going to be done. You are never going to be done. And it's a journey, right? We want to be present and here for all the journey. And sometimes I know that when we, are not kind to ourselves, it just piles on, right? It also, when we're not kind to ourselves, and a lot of us form this pattern. For me, I form this pattern, I'm clear, as part of a way of being a victim or a martyr, it gets me out of being responsible. See, when I'm beating myself up, then how are you going to hold me accountable? If I'm saying, oh, I'm a piece of crap, then you can't be like, you need to buck up, buddy. I mean, like, how are you going to hold me accountable for anything? And so, being unkind to ourselves and being mean to ourselves can be really self-indulgent, right? It can really get self-indulgent, and it can be so much focused on ourselves. So I just really want to have your eye on, how am I talking to myself? How are you talking to yourself? And I don't want to pat I have a microphone here, so I don't want to pat it, but you want to even give yourself a pat on the chest, right? Like I talk about that a lot in the podcast, where you give yourself a little pat on your heart chakra. This is your heart chakra, and you want to be kind to yourself and do all the things that are good for you, especially if you're having a hard time. And so that's a reminder this month. Like we're starting to, August is kicking in, school's going to be starting again, everything's going to be ramping up again, you're getting back into your own schedules again, all those things. It can be a busy time. So really be kind to yourself. If you have any interest in coaching, I've got some spots in my group. So if you are interested in that, please let us know, and or you can go to our website and look up the group coaching. If you haven't ever coached with me before, and that's something you've been thinking about diving into, you might want to pick that up. It's a time, and my group is small and mighty, and you get a lot of one-on-one time with me because there's not that many people in there. So if that's something you might be interested in, you might want to check that out, and there'll be a link below. We appreciate you, we love you, and we are so blessed that you are, willing to do this work, because we're all connected, and everything you do impacts everybody else. So thanks for taking yourself on the way you do, and I see you.